let's head to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hey, Dave, Fred from Cleveland. I was just wondering, we're pretty deep at offensive linemen, and the Jets are hurting. You think we could give up one of our lower, guys for Michael Carter? Straight up trade. Great show. Love you, brother. You be safe out there, Dave. It's a jungle, brother, and you know it. Love you, brother.
As always, appreciate all the voicemails. Corey, that's an interesting question. They do have depth at offensive line. They have depth at cornerback. Do you see them trying to do something along those lines potentially to bring in, the RB3, if you will?
Mm-hmm. I would say that player-for-player trades are so rare. Like, especially on cut-down days. I don't know if you remember. I don't know why this is the one that sticks in my mind, but Terrence West, the running back that was drafted in 2014, he only lasted on the team for a year, and then was traded at cut-down day to, I believe it was the Ravens, for a late day, like a conditional day 3 pick, future day 3 pick. And that's usually how those cut-down day trades work. Like, if the Jets are going to cut Michael Carter, say, and he's one of the running backs I mentioned in my article of running backs to watch on cut-down days, because they drafted Israel Abanikanda in the 4th round this year. They drafted Breece Hall in the 2nd round last year. They just signed Dalvin Cook. Like, they're putting bodies on the roster that could push Michael Carter off. But how it works is, say the Jets are thinking, yeah, we're going to cut Michael Carter Jr. What they're going to do is they're going to call teams that might be looking for a running back and say, hey, we're going to cut this guy. Would you give us a conditional day 3 pick for him instead, so that he doesn't have to go to waivers and you get priority? Like, that's how it works. Or if a team like the Browns could say, hey, we think Michael Carter's going to get cut. Let's call the Jets and see if they're willing to do this, as opposed to exposing him to waivers. That's how that stuff usually works. And they're usually like very, very minimal conditional day 3 picks, where teams are just looking for any sort of asset that can get out of a guy that they're about to cut anyway.
So along those lines, this is from CBS Sports, 2023 trade candidates. Not necessarily at cut down day, but they list Cordell Patterson, running back from the Atlanta Falcons. Potential suitors: Bengals, Browns, Panthers. Soft tissue injury sideline him for the moment, but even when healthy, might make more sense elsewhere as another team's change of pace utility man. They also list Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Potential suitors: Browns, Bengals, Rams. Former LSU first-rounder seen his usage decrease each season with the Chiefs, entrenched behind Isaiah Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon. Michael Carter, we've talked about, started 21 games, 2 years with the Jets. Dalvin Cook's arrival means he's no better than the 3rd running back behind Cook and Hall. We've also mentioned the draft pick. They also say Anthony Schwartz, Browns wide receiver. So this was a bunch, there's 12 of them. 3 of them running backs. They listed Browns as one of these suitors. Schwartz, they say potential suitors: Cardinals, Patriots, Titans. Concerns with Drop's durability mean the Browns probably wouldn't get much in return, but someone might be willing to take a flyer on the wideout's athleticism. All 3 of those running backs make sense because they would be, in essence, a 3rd down back. I don't know what it would cost you. Mm-hmm. I think if the Browns got a 6th or 7th round pick for Schwartz, they'd probably do it.
I would agree with that. You'd have to find a team who would just really love his speed, because there's not much on tape to verify that he's an NFL player. But if you get a 6th and 7th round, or even a 7th round pick, you say yes and hang up the phone immediately. But all those running backs, I would agree. So Cordell Patterson would be so much fun in this offense. You can move him around in a variety of ways. That might open up another wide receiver room spot for another actual wide receiver, because Cordell Patterson is also a return man. So you probably don't roster Jakeem Grant in that case as well. So that might open a wide receiver spot. But again, I think they're going to look for a guy that isn't just this 3rd down scat back type. Yes, Cordell Patterson can do a lot of that stuff, but he's got certified 1,000 yards from scrimmage. Like, he can run the ball through the trenches as well. Because I think that's what they want. And I think they have enough versatility in the wide receiver room. Elijah Moore, for example, in that Commanders game, took a handoff, motioned out of the backfield, did some of that scat back stuff, where I don't think a tweener, kind of a master of none, which is kind of what I think Demetric Felton is. Like, I don't think he's a good running back. He's not very good in between the tackles. He bounces, runs out wide, but he's also not, he doesn't thrive as a wide receiver. Like, I don't think they'll want that. They'll want a running back who can be a running back. If they're given the chance to carry the football. And that's what I like about Michael Carter. That's what I like about Cordell Patterson. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I could go back and forth on. I don't think he's super explosive or twitchy or anything like that. So I think his body of work has been pretty telling towards what kind of NFL player he is. But Patterson, Carter, I'd definitely be on board for either of those guys.